Hello, and welcome to my Christmas movie collection video. These are all the movies that I regard as Christmas movies. Some of them undeniably are Christmas movies, and are set at Christmas and all the rest of it. Some of them, not so much. I just associate with them with Christmas because I grew up with them as such. Now, I've got them in decade order and then alphabetical order within the decades. So starting with the 70s, you have Black Christmas. This is the most recent version of I bought with the best picture quality and the best sound. Probably my favourite horror movie. Certainly the best Christmas horror movie. I absolutely love Black Christmas. You know that. I've told you many, many times. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This is one of those that's not a Christmas movie, but it was shown at Christmas on ITV when I was a kid, and I associate it very much with Christmas. Plus, 70s, 80s, Spielberg always seems to have a kind of Christmas tone to him, just because it's so magical. Another one that's not really a Christmas movie, but I associate it with, is the original Death on the Nile, with Peter Ustinov. Again, I think this is one that was shown at Christmas all the time back in the day. And again, I just associate it with Christmas. If I'm going to watch this, I'm going to watch it in the festive season. On the same note is the next few, which is the Roger Moore, James Bond movies. Live and Let Die. This is the Blu-ray, despite what it looks like. Because again, some of the Blu-rays releases had really dull covers, and I found them very uninteresting, so I swapped them for the more interesting DVDs covers. Man with a Golden Gun. Moonraker. Love Moonraker. The greatest James Bond movie of all time. Spy Who Loved Me, which I'm probably going to watch this Christmas. And the only other one from the 70s I regard as even sort of Christmassy is the Tales from the Crypt. Mainly because of the first segment, which is Joan Collins versus a killer Santa. The same one was done in the TV series Tales from the Crypt. I think the 70s British movie version is better. It's less over the top and stupid, and more actually kind of creepy. So I'm sure I really pissed off a lot of people there, but there you go. I don't care. Again, I've got more 80s movies than any other decade, and I've got more Christmas 80s movies than any other decade. It makes sense. Adventures in Babysitting. I'm pretty sure this is a Christmas movie. It's very Christmassy if it isn't. I'm pretty sure it is, though. Love Adventures in Babysitting. Great 80s comedy. Wonderful stuff. Again, Airplane. I'm not sure if Airplane is Christmas, if it's set at Christmas. I remember it being, maybe I'm remembering wrong. But again, this is one that was shown at Christmas when I was a kid. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a Christmas movie. Back to the Future, again, for the same reasons. This is only really the first one, though I don't really associate 2 or 3 with Christmas, but the first one I associate with Christmas. Because again, it was shown at Christmas on BBC One. And I associate it with Christmas. On to more actual Christmas movies. You have A Christmas Carol, George C. Scott version, which I talked about just recently on my 80s movie collection. Christmas Evil. Great little weird early 80s horror. Very strange. Very Christmassy. Very good. Cobra. Great action slasher set at Christmas. Stallone. A recent discovery that I saw for the first time last year. Deadly Games, also known as Dial Code Santa Claus. I may even do a separate review of this. Saw this on Shudder last year. Immediately bought the Blu-ray. Late 80s French horror. Just awesome. Awesome 80s movie. Awesome horror movie. Awesome Christmas movie. It's just, amazing that you'd not seen it before. But then again, it wasn't widely available until recently, I don't think, outside of France. Die Hard. Absolutely a Christmas movie. Not the number one Christmas movie, but it's still pretty Christmas. You know it's not Christmas till you've seen Alan Rickman fall off Nakatomi Tower. For your eyes only, again, Roger Moore, James Bond, for the same reason. Roger Moore, James Bond, I just associate with Christmas. Always did. It was always on at Christmas when I was a kid. Moonraker, Moonraker, they even showed us at school one Christmas, so yeah. Funny Farm is sort of a Christmas movie. It has, like, the last entire act is set at Christmas, even though the first 2/3 aren't, but the last act is all set at Christmas, so I think it's a Christmas movie. Smiles Like Us, not really, though it's cold. But Funny Farm, yeah, I'd call it a Christmas movie. Ghostbusters, again, not a Christmas movie, but it is, because I associate it with, because it was really, I don't know whether I saw it for the first time at Christmas, but in the UK it was released at Christmas along with Gremlins. I remember my brother, I'd have been about 9. I remember my brother bringing home this film review magazine, previewing all the big movies being released at Christmas. There's like a 4-page spread on one thing is Ghostbusters and the other one is Gremlins. And I actually have that magazine now. I've actually found it on the internet and bought it just for sheer nostalgia. So I associate Ghostbusters with Christmas, dude. Ghostbusters 2, I not only saw at Christmas, it's set between Christmas and New Year. It's a New Year's Eve sort of movie, so it's still festive season. So absolutely Ghostbusters 2. Gremlins, again, this is the Blu-ray, even though it's on DVD, even though it's the DVD thing. The Blu-ray case was really bland. I much prefer this, though I still prefer the original poster that doesn't have the gremlin coming out of it. It's just got the 2 paws coming out of the box. That's the one I've got posterized. I love Gremlins. To me, this is the Christmas movie. To me, it's hard to find a more Christmassy movie than Christmas. That Deadly Games, kind of, yeah, but this is one from my childhood. One of my absolute favorite movies of all time. Probably my favorite Christmas movie. Legal Eagles, this is only one I found last year. I kind of associate this with Christmas because I remember the trailers for it being shown at Christmas on the BBC in the 80s. But I don't think I watched it. But I watched it last year on YouTube. I loved it. It's a great kind of romantic comedy thriller. Set at Christmas. Just a great 80s movie. Really, really great fun. Love it. Lethal Weapons, really only the first one though. The first one is a Christmas movie in the same way that Die Hard is. Love Lethal Weapon, absolute classic. Christmas Vacation, a staple for a lot of people. Personally, I prefer the first 2 vacation movies, but it's still pretty good. Believe it or not, Night of the Comet is a Christmas movie. It's set at Christmas when the apocalypse happens. It doesn't really make as much of the setting as you might hope, which is why I didn't even realise it was till the last time I saw it. But I love Night of the Comet, and it's set at Christmas, so it's a Christmas movie. Planes, Trains and Automobiles. I know this is set at Thanksgiving, and I don't have the movie Thanksgiving on here, but this is just so Christmassy. It's because of all the snow. It's the snow and the holidays. It could pass for Christmas, and that's good enough. It's very Christmassy. We don't have Thanksgiving in the UK or Australia, so it's a Christmas movie. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Only the original. Again, it's not a Christmas movie as such, but this was shown Christmas '84. You can even find the trailers on YouTube for the movies that ITV was having on '84, and there were some great ones. I had this on videotape. Taped off the telly to such an extent, and watched it to such an extent. I watch this movie now, and I can tell you when the ad breaks cut in. I can tell you which adverts are coming up after this scene. Yeah, again, I know it's not a Christmas movie, but to me, it is a Christmas movie. So there you go. You got Scrooge, Bill Murray. Obviously, it's the Scrooge story as a comedy, modern comedy. Silent Night, Deadly Night. This literally just came today. I literally just picked this up today. I have seen it. It's okay. It's not the greatest. but it's all right. It's all right. It's 80s slasher Christmas movie. Why not? Terror Train. This is more of a New Year's movie, but I mean, it's still the festive fucking season, so who cares? It's still the same atmosphere, etc. And it's a great movie. Love Terror Train. Trading Places, absolutely Christmas movie. Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, great early 80s comedy. View to a Kill, The Last Roger, again for all the same reasons as before. Young Sherlock Holmes, I've just done a review of this last week. You can find it on my channel. I love Young Sherlock Holmes. I associate it with Christmas, and it does have a lot, like the Harry Potter movies, it has a large chunk of it set at Christmas, because it kind of covers the school terms, etc. I don't think it goes the full year, but a large section of it is set in winter and at Christmas. And it's a great movie. It's a great 80s classic with the Barry Sonnenfeld, I think, directed it. But again, Steven Spielberg presents, and it's very much got that Spielberg 80s touch. Love Young Sherlock Holmes. I've actually just bought the, because they're only $10. I've actually just ordered the Western release, because this came out a couple of years ago and there was no bloody Western release. So I bought it, even though it's a foreign copy. And of course, within less than a year, they released it. They released it in the UK and the US. I love Young Sherlock Holmes. It's one of my favourite childhood movies. I haven't seen it for ages because I overwatched it endlessly in the late 80s and 90s and even the 2000s. I am planning to watch it again this Christmas. Barry Levinson, sorry, not Sonnenfeld. Love Young Sherlock Holmes. Absolutely recommend if you haven't seen it and you love a good 80s movie. Die Hard 2 is another Christmas movie. It's not as good as the first one, but if you've overwatched the first one and you still want to see Bruce Willis killing terrorists, fair enough. End of Days, Arnie versus Satan. This is more of a New Year's movie again. It's the lead up to the millennium, isn't it? The end of 1999. It's still festive. If you want a big Arnie action with a bit of horror thrown in, that's also kind of Christmassy. End of Days is your man. Or not. Go. Again, I think I talked about this on the no, I didn't. I haven't. No, this is the 90s, not the 80s, because I didn't. I love Go. I saw this recently. I hadn't seen it for bloody donkey's years. It was one of those that got in the 90s, late 90s, and got it on DVD. And I just the DVD went the way of the dinosaur. Just didn't watch it for a long time. And for a long time, it was unavailable on Blu-ray. It was out of print. And then it recently came back in print. I love it. It's a Christmas movie. It's a great little kind of comedy escapade, comedy thriller. Great late 90s. Katie Holmes and Sarah Polley, both looking very attractive. Yeah, Go's great fun. Home Alone 1 and 2. Obviously Christmas staples. Jingle All the Way, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I hated this at the time, but when I saw it at the cinema, I thought it was absolutely bloody awful. I saw it again a few years ago and really kind of liked it. If you want a bit of Arnie festivity without the action or the horror, have a bit of a silly comedy instead. Jingle All the Way. Long Kiss Goodnight. Massively awesome and underrated 90s action, and it's a Christmas movie. I didn't even realize until a few years ago when I watched it, because it had been a while since I'd seen it, and I think I watched it like November-ish, and I'm like, bloody hell, it's a Christmas movie. I should have waited a couple of weeks. I will be watching it again, maybe not this year, but probably next year. It's an awesome action movie, and it's very Christmassy. If you want to change from the Die Hards or Lethal Weapons, superb stuff. While You Were Sleeping, I'm pretty sure this is a Christmas movie, isn't it? I'm sure it's got Christmas stuff in it at the very least, and it's wintry and snowy and all the rest of it. It's a fluffy romantic comedy, not bad. Turbulence. This is another 90s action movie, and it's a very much Christmassy. It's also very funny because Ray Liotta is just so over the top. as the villain. He's so over the top. You almost think he was taking the piss. Really, he had to be taking the mick because it's so ridiculous. I'd never heard of this movie. I'd never even heard of this movie. I saw it a couple of years ago on SBS of all things in Australia. I accidentally kind of flicking channels and I saw this. It already started, but it was only like first 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm like, what the hell is this? You know, Israeli Otter and Lauren Holly from Picket Fences and Dumb and Dumber. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I just kind of started watching it, and it's just so ridiculous. And Ray Liotta's performance is so ridiculous that it's just great fun, and it's set at Christmas. Again, it's great fun. If you're not seeing it, absolutely absurd. Now we're into the 2000s. You've got The Children, which is it's Christmas between Christmas and New Year, still a festive one. Horror movie, some virus or something turns kids into homicidal maniacs, as if they weren't bad enough already. Dead End is another 2000s festive horror. Family on the road to visit family over the holidays, and they get stuck on this never-ending road, and it's not good. This is one I really, really loved this the first time I saw it, but once you know the twist, I'm not sure it really kind of stands up that well. But it's all right. If you've never seen it before, I'd certainly watch it. Just stay away from spoilers. The Family Stone. This is a family comedy, Christmas movie. Family get together over the Christmas holidays. Brings out all the, family bickering and secrets and relationships. It's a good fun movie. Saw this at the cinema back in the day. Saw it again a few years ago. It's very likeable, great cast. Enjoyable. Claire Danes is very pretty in it as well. And Rachel McAdams, actually. These are the Harry Potters, which, a lot of people regard as kind of very Christmassy. This is mainly here for me for the first one. For some reason, that's the one I just tend to rewatch. And it's certainly the one that seems the most Christmassy to me. Probably because not just of the Christmas section, it's probably the most kind of Spielberg-esque, 80s Spielberg-esque of the whole lot, which is probably why it kind of feels Christmassy to me. So that's the Harry Potter. P2, which I literally just picked up as I did a pickup video a while back. I've not actually seen it yet. It's Christmas fed. I'm going to watch it in the coming week, probably. Christmas horror. Serendipity. Very, very Christmassy, wintry, romantic comedy. John Cusack, Kate Beckinsale. Great little romantic comedy. Didn't like this as much as I used to the last time I saw it, but maybe I just wasn't in the bloody mood. It's entirely possible. Wind Chill, Emily Blunt. This is a Christmas horror movie from the 2000s. Not a massive fan, to be honest, but I've got it, so it goes on the shelf. This is an odd one. Anna and the Apocalypse, a British zombie comedy musical. Now, this is from 2017. This was released. Now, I remember hearing about this at the time. I thought it sounded completely bonkers and probably awful, and it just disappeared from my radar. And I think it was last year. I just kept hearing people on YouTube kind of putting it in their favorite Christmas movies, Christmas horror lists. And I think I rented it on YouTube, or it was on maybe it was on Shudder or something like that. But I gave it a try, and I was surprised by how bloody good it actually is. It's a great fun movie. I mean, it's insane. It shouldn't work, but somehow it does. It's absolutely great fun. The lead girl's really, really cute. Very, very good. Completely bonkers movie. It really, I don't know what else to say about it. If you haven't seen it and you've been put off by it, I'd give it a try, because it's insane. Really, really fun. Better Watch Out. Probably one of the more well-known 2010s Christmas movies. It's okay. I'm not a massive fan. It's okay. Christmas Horror Story. Like this one rather better, not least because it's got the Shat in it. It's a fun, silly anthology movie. William Shatner kind of links it as the radio DJ in this town where everything's going to hell. It's got kind of like the trick or treat thing of the stories, kind of separate stories but kind of linked together. It's good fun. And the most recent pair in the 2020s, Happiest Season, which I saw a few years ago, really like, and I actually ended up watching. I wasn't planning to. I actually ended up watching it last Christmas Day night, and really enjoyed it the second time. I mean, it's basically like it's the Family Stone, but with lesbianism. You know, so that makes it even better, doesn't it? And the most recent one I've put on my shelf was last year's Shudder Christmas horror, It's a Wonderful Knife. Really like this. It's very divisive. Some people like it, some people hate it. I don't know what's wrong with the people who hate it. I suspect they've got serious attitude problems. But I really enjoyed this. I didn't know what to expect. I'm not a big fan of modern movies and even modern horror, but this was very much like a kind of a late 90s throwback. As the title suggests, it's a wonderful life, but as a slasher movie, and with lesbians again. So I mean, what more do you want for your Christmas night entertainment? That's what I call enjoyable. So that's kind of my Christmas movie collection. It's expanded a bit. I mean, even though it's not this decade, Anna and the Apocalypse was new to me last year, certainly. And Happiest Season, It's a Wonderful Knife, are new. I just picked up Silent Night, Deadly Night this year. Not a massive fan, but it's still good. And Deadly Games was another new discovery last year. Anyway, those are my Christmas movies, and they'll be the Christmas movies. I'm not watching all of them this year, but I will be watching a smattering. Oh, bloody hell, have I forgotten one? I don't believe it. I've only just done this shelf this year, you see. I just wanted to do something different. I've always wanted to have like a Christmas shelf, putting out in all the ones, and I just, bloody hell. I've forgotten Don't Open Till Christmas, which I've only just bought and only just watched last week, and I may even do a video on. But, oh well, I'll put it on in a minute. Anyway, these are, for the most part, my Christmas movie collection. Like, share, subscribe, etc. God, I feel so weird saying that shit. Bye for now.